Welcome back to this channel. If you are new here, my name is Juliet. This channel is all about personal development, advancement, and growth. As I continue on my personal development journey, I also want to help others to see that it's possible to change their mindset and it's possible to grow into the person that you want to become. So if you're someone that's on your personal development journey or you're someone that's looking to change who you are, this is the channel that you need to be at. So in today's topic, we're going to be discussing how to change your mindset. And we're also going to be discussing why it's important to change your mindset. We're going to do a little pointers on describing what mindset and perspective is. But the main thing of this video is that we're going to focus on how to change your mindset. Changing your mindset is not an easy task. It's not easy. And it's always going to be a journey. I want you to understand that. And I think a lot of times that people feel ashamed that they don't know how to do it. And there is no judgment over here because before the pandemic, I had no clue of what personal development was. I had no clue of how to grow. I know I wanted to become better. I know I wanted to be a different person. I know I wanted to get to higher levels, but I just couldn't understand, how do I do this? How do I do it? You could watch all the motivational videos, find out how, hey, this person motivated me, but you still need to understand how can you change your mindset. So we're going to get into what mindset is. So my brief definition of mindset is just the way you think, your way of thinking, your beliefs, your perspectives on things. Meaning by, when I say a way of thinking, some people have a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset. Now, a fixed mindset can leave you stagnant. It can leave you stagnant, especially if you're someone that's looking to become a better person or looking to grow, evolve. And like I always tell you, I believe human beings should always evolve. And with a growth mindset, you are open to challenges. You're open to changing who you are. Your mind is more open to possibilities and not just staying in a fixed mindset of saying, you know what, I've always been this way and I don't think I'm going to change. I'm always going to stay small. I'm not going to challenge myself. And that's a brief description of what I think mindset is. So now let's get into perspective. My opinion of perspective is the way you view things. You could look at something and see it as it is and already process in your mind that this is going to change. You look at it, let me give you an example. Let's just say you have a problem or issue that's going on, but instead of seeing that as just a problem, you possibly see a solution in it. And instead of just seeing it as a problem, you may see it as an opportunity. Perspective is looking at it and saying, this will not stay the same. This is going to change. Or I can change this. I can twerk this and, change it into something different. That's the way I view perspective. Now, let's get into how to change your mindset. So these are practical ways of how I started to change my mindset. Like I said, I can only give you the ways that I was able to change my mindset. And also remember that this is not an overnight fix. It is a journey. The first thing that you need to do in order to change your mindset is that you have to want to change your mindset. You have to want it. It was a quote that Miles Monroe said that you never change until you have to. So if you have already made up your decision that, hey, I want to change my mind, that's the first step. Secondly, you have to believe that it is possible. You have a lot of people who believe that they cannot change their minds. They cannot change the person that they are. But to be honest, we should always be evolving. We should always want to become better and get to higher levels. Remember, the Bible says that we were made in the image and the likeness of God. God operates in greatness. So if you're staying to one level, then you're not operating in the greatness that God allowed you to operate in. Thirdly, you're going to want to start looking for self-help books to read, to study. When I say self-help books, my tongue is a little heavy, guys. When I say self-help books, I mean personal development books, self-development books. These are books that are going to stimulate your mind. They're going to get you thinking. They're going to help to arouse something inside of you to say, you know what? Hey, I could see it working out that way. You could when you start to read personal development books, you start to look at issues and problems and be like, you know what, this is only temporary. This is only temporary. Probably I could do this and it'll be fixed. So one personal development book that I always speak about, and I've read this book for about probably 3 or 4 times, because every time I read it, I gain more information from it. I study it and I learn more information as I continue to go. And another thing with reading personal development books, do not just read. If you're going to just read and gain knowledge, it serves you no use. You're going to have to read, gain the knowledge, and put it to use, execute. So this book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Did you guys know that we're now on Spotify? Yes, if you didn't know, you know it now. So you could also tune into us every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on Spotify on our podcast, Self Improvement with Juliet New Church. If you're unable to watch our videos here on YouTube, you could just click the link in our description box and subscribe to our podcast. If you need the motivation to start your week, if you need that boost to get your day going, or whatever time you choose to listen to it, subscribe to us now. I like to read the hard copy, but some people prefer audiobooks. If you want to read it online, then that's fine. But I realized that reading it online didn't help me. But when I got the hard copy, I was able to study the book. I was able to keep going over stuff, like going back to pages where, hey, this was said about this, so probably I could implement this. That is one of the steps as well. Another thing that you're going to have to do to change your mind is you're going to have to write out what you want. What do you want out of life? What do you want to do? How much money you need? And don't get me wrong, pursuing and becoming your best self, the money is going to come. The money is going to come. You're not only in it for the money, but you're also in it to develop the person that you need to become to be able to obtain that kind of money that you may want. So you're going to also write down what you want. Write down the amount of money you want. Write down why you're doing it. Why are you doing whatever it is that you're going to do? Write down all the goals that you have. Write down the places that you want to visit. Write it down. You have to get clear and precise on how you want your life to be going. Even if you don't have to just jump to a 5-year plan, you could jump to possibly just doing a 6-month plan or a 3-month plan. Start small. Start small on what it is, on what you want to do, where you want to go, the person you want to become. The next thing is you're gonna have to change some of your habits. So let me give you an example. If you're always just watching TV straight 8 hours, possibly you could use an hour out of that television watching time and read your book. Read your self-help books. If you change a habit, you're going to have to substitute it with something else. If you just change that habit and just quit and you don't substitute it with something else, you're always going to fall back to that old habit that is not helping you to progress. Another thing that helped me as well was listening to personal development speakers. Really good personal development speakers, Jim Rohn. You can listen to Les Brown, Miles Monroe. All those persons helped me to change my perspective on what I saw my life as. Because when you really look at it, every situation that we go through in life is only temporary, It's only temporary, but your circumstances, whatever it is that you're facing, wouldn't change until you change. A lot of times we ask God and we say, God, I need this, God, I need that. But deep down inside, you know that you can't even handle those things that you're asking for. And the thing about it is, you may receive those things probably years later. But if, in all honesty, if you were to look back from that time in the past and be like, you know what, I wasn't even ready. I wasn't even the person that I was supposed to be in order to receive these things. And that's why God doesn't give us things when we want it. He gives us things when we are prepared for it. I always say that opportunity meets preparation. So if you're not prepared for something, the opportunity is not going to present itself. God knows when you're prepared for something. That's why you get it when you're prepared. And those things, those practical things, were stuff that helped me. And also remember that this is a journey. It's a journey to changing your mindset. There are stuff that I still battle with daily. Daily, someone just something happened on Saturday, and I realized that it triggered me. And now I know that that's something that I need to work on because I'm not perfect. I always say at the beginning of these videos that, hey, we are working on becoming our best selves. This is a personal development journey that I am on. Yes, I'm going to slip up. Sometimes you may slip up and that's okay. You just need to know that, hey, this is what I need to work on. And that's why I always say to write journals as well. Write journals because you get to see how you could quickly work on the things that you're dealing with if you write them down and say, hey, how could I work on this? How could I do this? Self-reflection is one of the things that helped me too with my personal development journey. You have to sit down and reflect. Did I do this right today? Should I have said this? Should I have said this to this person? You see? And now we're going to touch on the importance of changing your mindset. The reason why you need to change your mindset because it is essential for you to change your mindset in order for you to grow. If you're looking to grow, you're going to have to change your mind. You're going to have to change your mind. If you're looking to get to higher levels, you're going to have to change your mind. You know, this is a story about the children of Israel. I had to look up on the internet how long it would have taken them to get from Egypt to the promised land, which was Canaan, if they were walking. And it said only 11 days. And you know, I find that so crazy because it took them 40 years. The older generation of the children of Israel even died in the wilderness. It took them 40 years. They were circling the wilderness for 40 years. And you know why they were circling the wilderness for 40 years? Because they refused to change their minds. See, God was trying to take that mindset of Egypt out of them because they were so used to being in bondage. They were so used to being in slavery. They couldn't help that mindset to get into the promised land. See, because when you get to higher levels, you can't carry the same old mindset with you to get to that next level. You ever see people from years ago, they see you now and they be like, oh my God, you changed. No, it wasn't that, you changed for the bad, but you changed because in order to get to the next level where you had to go in life, you needed to change. It was a must. It was a requirement. So the children of Israel, they had to change their minds. And because they couldn't do that, the older generation died in the wilderness. And God ended up using Joshua and the new generation of the children of Israel to go into the promised land because they didn't have that mindset of Egypt. They didn't have that mindset of bondage. They didn't have that mindset of slavery. And see, the thing about it is, freedom requires so much out of you. Freedom requires that new mindset. And that's what the children of Israel were going to get in that new land. Freedom had required them. They were not going to be dependent on God the way they would have been dependent on him while they were in the wilderness because he was feeding them, giving them everything. But now, when they go into that new promised land, they ain't getting the same manna from heaven. They ain't getting the water from the rock. They now have, sorry y'all, I got a call. So they now have to go and get the things for themselves. And I just want to let you guys know that it's a journey. Always remember that. It's a journey to change in your mindset. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not going to just be one day you wake up and you be like, you know what, I changed my mindset. No, it's not going to work like that. And another thing, changing your mindset doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else. Because all of us have the capability of changing our mindset. A lot of people just don't do it because it requires work. It requires work. And sometimes with changing your mindset, you end up losing people around you, not by death, but you end up losing friendships and relationships that are now not on the level where you are heading. And that's okay if they don't, if they're not on the level that you're going right now. People catch up eventually if they choose to. Then if they stay the same, then all be, so be it. That's their decision. But don't ever think that you're better than somebody because you're changing your mindset. The only difference between you and them is that you're willing to put in the work. So I hope this video was helpful to somebody today. If it was, please give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to comment down below in our comment section. Also check us out on Instagram and TikTok, and do not forget to follow us on Spotify so you could tune into the audio of our podcast, Self Improvement with Juliet Newchurch. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching this channel.